Oh, I need a rest.
Oh, I'm putting you straight to bed. Huh? Come on. There, you'll be comfortable here.
Do you have a problem?
I don't like old people sleeping in my bed. They smell funny, Fraser.
Perhaps you smell funny.
With Paul, it was always wonderful because he was willing to improvise on anything. I played a Russian spy. Such a wonderful Russian spy that she didn't have a Russian accent. Who are you?
My name is Constable Benton Fraser, RCMP.
Are you the police? She looked so well made up. So he said, well, you know what? Why don't we give you a kind of an ugly wig? And then in order to blend that with the scene we already shot, tear your wig off, and then we'll see you as you are in the first scene that we filmed. Very clever. But right now it's not doing you any good, is it?
You may be on your own for a while. Is something wrong?
Cancelled for a second time, Due South would once again receive a stay of execution, but this time there would be casualties. Perhaps the most challenging was the loss of David Marciano, who was unable to return because of prior commitments.
I really, on the one hand, would have loved to have, finished that series out properly. But on the other hand, it just wasn't, it wasn't my destiny.
So we brought in Callum Rennie, who also played Ray Vecchio, but it was kind of a dodge because his real name was actually Stanley Kowalski.
Oh, you think this is going to be confusing, huh? Well, look, you be Ray Vecchio because you were Ray Vecchio to start with.
Right.
And, who am I?
Good question. Well, you could be Stanley Kowalski.
Stanley Kowalski?
His father had a big thing for Marlon Brando.
I was arrogant and it was 9 years ago. I was very young. I was very young. So it was a gig.
Ray! Fraser! Buddy! You have a good time up there in the Northwest areas?
They could have said, well, David Marciano's not coming back, let's fold, and they were like, no, how can we work this out? And I think it was kind of funny and witty and, so unbelievable, but therefore interesting.
Who are you?
We're kidding around, Fred. You know who I am.
I assure you, I am not kidding around.
Here you go, Ray. Files 1 through 7 in the background of the Johnson case.
It was a bit tough coming in when the character had already been established on the show, but Paul made it really like a great transition and really easy to do.
Yeah, the transition from David Marciano to Callum was obviously odd, because it was like, oh, okay, hi, nice to meet you. You're my brother? Okay, all right.
Excuse me, Francesca, do you know this man?
Yeah, of course I do. Doesn't he know?
I think he's a comedian. Hardy, ha, ha, ha.
So, it was a little bit of a stumble there. Everybody sort of had to, it was a pill to swallow, basically. But you know what? Once you did, let me tell you, that's when everything kicked it up a notch.
Callum was really fun, you could throw him out of an airplane and he'd be happy.
Fraser, being your partner has certain drawbacks. Such as?
Coming up, Due North. Canada understudies for Chicago, and we spot the Due South sets with Ramona Milano.
I have a question for you. Did Fraser and Francesca ever sleep together?
The answer to whether Fraser or Francesca ever slept together is sadly no, they did not.
Due South is the story of the Canadian Mountie who went south to Chicago that became one of the most popular TV series in the 1990s. But the cast and crew didn't actually go that far to make the show. Toronto, to be precise, and so we asked actress Ramona Milano, Francesca in the series, to give us a guided tour of the key places of Due South.
So one of the games that was fun to play watching Due South was trying to pick up all the Toronto locations, because as you know, it was supposed to take place in Chicago. And it has been said that in the episode You Must Remember This, that you could actually see Toronto's CN Tower in the background. Kind of a bit like Where's Waldo?
Canada's famous for world's tallest freestanding structure, which, of course, everyone that visits, it looks like a giant penis. Mounties, beavers. See, I've already run out. What was that?
On the show, the difference between Canada and the U.S., you know, we always, Canada was represented as being the kinder, gentler America.
Do they have toilets in Canada?
Yes, we do.
And the United States as being the more gruff, forceful.
Windsor, Ontario, which Michael Moore's Bowling and Columbine, he visits Windsor, Ontario. It's not really a city, it's a big town. And there's a river that's not much wider than the Thames. And Detroit is there in all its glory, like skyscrapers and sirens, and it's one of the most dangerous places in America. And Canadians do line up on that river on the Canadian side and look at it like we're looking at Mordor.
Paul Haggis described it as the big brother, little brother relationship. So on the one hand, you know, you love America, you know, and on the other hand, you're tired of America, you know, picking on you, you know, and being living in the shadow of your big brother.
Did you ever watch The Simpsons? You know, the animated. There was an episode once when The Simpsons came to Canada, and Marge steps off the plane and she looks around and she says, "Oh wow, it's so bland." And then she says, "I love it."
In England, they romanticize it as, you know, I would like to go to those forests. You know, that sounds fantastic. And in America, they say, I would like to cut down those forests and use it for furniture.
The tensions between America and Canada, I think on one level, they are there.
We're next door to the monster. We're 668, the neighbor of the beast.
We kind of played on the mythology, in a way, of Canada.
Canada's mother nature is a 300-pound woman who's really angry. It just comes down to you sons of bitches, and that's our mother nature. So I think we unite under that we survive the elements.
And to a certain extent, the mythology of the U.S. Everybody carries a gun. Everybody is essentially violent. Everybody is rude. And in Canada, everybody is polite.